We've all been there. Too many projects and too much indecision. I mean, if you haven't had that problem, good for you. But for those of us that definitely have issues focusing on a project or finishing projects, I think I have a solution for us. Hello and welcome to Bookhoarding by Bianca. Sometimes I talk about books and sometimes I talk about costumes, and today I'm talking about a project that's mainly for costumes, but honestly, you could use it for books too. What am I talking about? You see, it came to me once upon an IKEA trip. I needed to figure out a way to make finishing projects or deciding on projects a little bit more fun. And that is exactly what the children's section of IKEA is made for. Are you ready to be introduced to Wheel of Projects? This is the solution, everybody. It is a children's toy, and I am thrilled. So you can get this in the kids section of IKEA, or probably online anywhere, or maybe even there's an app for that. Literally someone DM'd me and told me there's an app for this. So you can either do this or just download an app. Whatever works for you, try this out. If it works, if it doesn't, find a different solution. But this is what I'm going with for right now. What is Wheel of Projects? It's like I'm on my own personal Price is Right game show, but like it's for crafts and I actually get to be productive. Although money would be nice. And some new appliances would also be pretty rad. I'm not gonna think about it too hard. Basically, I put all of my sewing projects on here that were currently in the kind of current docket of like I have the supplies for it, or I've got some stuff cut out from it, or I've been thinking about making this because it's the season for that, along with some long-running UFOs. What are UFOs, you ask? UFOs are what the craft and costume community call unfinished objects, aka projects that you start in some way, shape, or form and just haven't quite finished for whatever reason. Okay, so I put my UFOs on here. Did you mention UFOs? Yeah, I mentioned UFOs. What of it? Well, I'm a UFO, and you've forgotten all about me. Listen, Edwardian corset, you are literally the first thing on here. First, but not only. I should be the only project on here because you've been putting me off forever. While I have been putting you off, you don't get to take precedence over everything else, okay? We'll see about that. So if you haven't guessed by now, this is one of the ghosts of projects past that haunt me. Say hello, Edwardian corset. Hello, Edwardian corset. Anyway, this isn't about you as much as I know you want it to be. So why don't you skedaddle and let me continue telling the good people about how to finish their current projects. Fine. But I'll remember this. Bye. Okay, now that the corset is gone, it's time to get back to business. You can see here that I put all of my current UFOs and other projects that I really want to get to here. And what I'm going to do is, after I'm done with a project and I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, about once a month, I'm going to go here, spin this wheel, and decide on my next project that way. But this one's not for real because I'm not doing the whole I just finished a thing and did this. It's a combination of like a lot of projects and yeah. Okay, so when are you going to see me using this? So I'm probably going to be using this when I've just finished a project and I'm not sure what I'm going to make next. So maybe once a month. Right now it's a lot of things that are currently like, I know I should be getting to this, but I haven't, mixed with some UFOs. So it'll just be a fun mix, and there might be times where I'm going to be making one of these things anyway, so I'll take it off and like my summer clothes or fall stuff, and I'll just take it off and replace it as I go through them, either because I've used the Wheel of Projects to help me decide, or because I've needed to finish them regardless. So theoretically, you're going to see me use this at the end of some of my upcoming content, potentially, maybe once a month, as I go through and just need help deciding on what it is I'm going to make next. I'm really excited because I have so many unfinished projects, and I just really, oh no. What do you want, Scrap Monster? I see that you've made a whole creation to work on your unfinished projects. But what about your scrap projects? Scrap Monster, we've been through this. You are here to serve a purpose. Some of these projects are totally going to use up scraps, I promise. It's awfully fishy that the corset gets top billing, and I'm nowhere on here. That's because you aren't unfinished, Scrap Monster. You're a work of art. You're complete. While I'm flattered, I know that you're only saying this to placate me. I'll remember this. Okay, well, that was weird. That's my Scrap Monster. I'm sure a lot of you have them too. Mine eventually became sentient over the years of just being a scrap pile and is now a Scrap Monster. I love them dearly, but sometimes they just really need to be in front of the camera. It's a whole thing. We're going through therapy. We'll talk about it later. Okay, so the way that you get your own is either to just buy this and put your projects on here. I taped mine. I wrote mine on a piece of paper and just taped them on here. Or you can use the aforementioned app that I'll link to, or even what I've done before is I'll make a list of things and number them, and then I'll use a 20-sided die or any other D&D dice combinations to figure out what my next project will be. Hopefully this is a more condensed version that'll get me a little bit more focused on like upcoming projects and like unfinished things that really should be done. I'm really excited and also terrified because what if I have to do the corset next? Don't tell the corset I said that. But like, there's a lot of projects on here that I have been avoiding, and I'm a little bit terrified about what's gonna happen. Okay, that goes over the basics. We've talked about how to get this in your own life, how I made this, the kind of logic behind it, and when you're gonna see it. And you've been introduced to my sewing room menagerie. We've got the Edwardian corset, which is kind of a pattern poltergeist, and we have Scrap Monster, which is just a sentient creature reminding me of the fact that I've saved a bunch of scraps and done not enough with them. Let me know if you try this yourself. I would love to see how you decide your projects too, if you aren't using this method or an app. I think it's really helpful for folks who just either are having a hard time focusing or need a little bit of extra like motivation to do something for whatever reason. So without further ado, I guess this is what you're really here for, right? We should spin the wheel to figure out what I'm doing next. I'm gonna reset it to the beginning. I'm gonna give it a spin. Ooh, it's a Fallen Order costume. I'm kind of excited about this one. It is a Ninth Sister. It's Marin, who is an awesome, badass woman, and with like lightsabers, and like she's from Dathomir. Oh my god. Okay, so I guess she's a former Night Sister thing. But anyway, I'm excited because it means a return to Star Wars costumes, which I haven't done in a hot second. So I actually 100% have supplies for her. So it shouldn't really take that much time. I've been a little hesitant to start that project because it's gonna involve like makeup and stuff, but like I really don't need to go the full like doing makeup and getting a wig just yet. The whole point is just to finish my costumes and my projects. So I will maybe stockpile some costumes and like learn how to do face painting and stuff. Maybe once this hits the Winter Jester costume, I'll actually teach myself how to do intense makeup and wig work. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, please like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends about the silliness of my craft room, and I can't wait to see you next time, and hopefully at some point in the next month or so I will have a finished project. I would like to thank my patrons. A reminder that if you are a patron at the Lizzie Bennett tier and above, you get a special shout out in all of my videos. Thank you, Agnes. And if you can't quite commit to being on my Patreon, I do have a coffee, so check that out as well. And don't forget to make it so. So UFOs. Oh no. Oh no. Speaking of UFOs. I wonder if I can convince my partner to print me a beady. I think I would love a little beady to like ride on my shoulder.